Hey, just give me 5 minutes to show you something amazing. In this video, either before or after a quick lesson full of traps, I'm going to be testing the Alapin Gambit in real games across different time controls. And I'm talking about 3-minute Blitz, 2-minute Bullet, and the ultra fast 1-minute Bullet, or even less. But which time control truly favors the Alapin Gambit? Well, stick around, we'll find out against real opponents on leeches. Let's dive in. This is called the Alapin Gambit that you can use to surprise your opponents. This is a sideline you need to study if you want to be crushing the French defense like nah. Why giving up a free pawn in the opening stage? Watch and learn. Back to the second move after pawn to d5. In the Alapin Gambit, the question that begs to be answered is why playing bishop e3 on the third move? Here is the reason. We know that French players play like robots. Sorry for those of you who are French players, but there's just too much memorization. That's what I'm talking about. I don't mean you are robots, even though you play like them. Anyway, so when you play bishop e3, you are kind of saying no to pawn to c5. That's why you're going to see most of your opponents taking on e4. Now, you begin developing all your pieces based on this misplaced pawn. Perhaps starting with knight d2 immediately, you just want to get that pawn back. Again, note how we are stopping black from playing pawn to c5. So in this position, black only has two moves, knight f6 and pawn to f5. If knight f6, you are safe. So you just continue developing all your pieces as highlighted based on black's misplaced pawn on e4. Like that. You're going to get back that pawn, like it or not. For example, c3, you want to play queen c2 next. If they play pawn to b6, you know they want to strengthen that pawn. You can play pawn to g3, bishop b7, bishop g2. If c5 comes, you always have knight e2 so that if they take, guess what? You take back with the knight. If pawn to e5, you go knight for b3, play queen c2 and castle long. Or depending on your taste, you can even castle short. Just that to me, castle long comes with tempo. Sometimes you can castle short if you just want to play it safe. The e5 pawn and the e4 pawn are one. So that's like one pawn there, and it's easier to get back this e4 pawn anytime you want. The only line you want to study the most in the Alapin Gambit after pawn takes knight d2 is this pawn to f5 line. But let me give you a hint. Pawn to f5 equals pawn to f3 right away. So you want to put your light squared bishop on c4 later on. After that, if black takes, guess what? You simply go knight g takes f3. Done. Knight f6. Now bishop c4. Sooner or later, black is going to castle short, but they are going to run into this pin. For example, you can continue with queen e2 here. If you want, you can castle short. Not much of a stretch. Like this is okay. And after this, that's what I'm talking about. Now you have moves like knight g5, queen e2, all targeting the weak e6 pawn. This is how you're supposed to play the Alapin Gambit. For example, queen e2. If h6 may be stopping you from playing knight g5 or bishop g5, well, you still have bishop f2, paving the way for your queen you want to take with check. If rook e8, you go bishop h4, among many other good options, even pawn to c3. I mean, it's all about the position. This pawn on e6 is black's long-term weakness. All the pieces are going to be glued to this pawn, defending it. And if I ask you, does this look like the normal French defense that people struggle with? Nope. This is a sideline you need to study if you want to be crushing the French defense like nah. And sometimes what I like doing, after castling short, is playing the move knight h4. Not objectively the best due to some tactics and that, but most people don't see. Although they have eyes, they play moves like knight c6, allowing me to take on f5. I just wanted to show you the power of this bishop c4 pin. Anyway, and hey, I just discovered that you can kind of force things even in the d4 opening. How? If black plays pawn to d5, instead of going c4, the queen's gambit, yes, you can try the move pawn to e4 immediately. Of course, this is called the black Medema gambit, but we do not intend to play pawn to f3 after d takes e4. That's the difference. So if that happens, just go bishop e3. And these are moments you're going to see your opponents playing moves like knight f6 and pawn to e6, going back to the Alapin Gambit without your opponents even realizing it. For example, after knight f6, the top played move, now you go knight d2 because you intend to go c3, queen c2, and knight e2 next. This time, if pawn to c5, you can just take. If pawn to e6 first, you want to play c3. And again, if pawn to c5, what did I say? You want to go knight e2. even though in this position you can just take, that's just a free pawn if you think about it, defended by your Alpine bishop like that. So you won't see most of your opponents playing c5 anyhow. Maybe they will start with pawn to b6. What did I say? You can go g3, so that if bishop b7, you simply go bishop g2. And after c5, noticing that you can't take freely, this time you play knight e2. c5 equals knight e2, so that if pawn takes, you take back with your knight. In most cases, one might ask, what if black plays pawn to e5 right away? First, note that this is just a free pawn. You can take if you want, or if you so wish, but once again, you can go knight e2, nothing wrong with that, because you intend to take back like that anyway. Knight c3 is also a great move in this position, but how about c3? Because if pawn takes happens, you can just take back like this. And this is what I'm going to be testing in today's video. So I'm going to be challenging random opponents on Lichess. I'll start with a 3-minute Blitz match, then move on to a 2-minute bullet match, and finally conclude with a 1-minute bullet match. And hey, don't just watch. That's not encouraging at all. To keep this channel alive, you can simply share this video, hit the like button, and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have nothing to say, just type "Thank you, Kaspa" in the comment section down below. Lastly, if you want to go through my study PGNs, such as the one I'm using in this study, you can visit my Patreon page. The link is in the comment section down below. One of my favorite openings to play against the French due to its flexibility, as you can see. Now this is a very weird line. I've never seen this before. That bishop maneuver, that won't work. Queen e2 first. I want to play knight g5 given a chance. So this will be a very quick game. As you can tell, my opponent is just blazing out moves, not doing much with the thinking. These are people I don't love in my life. No, I'm just joking. I mean pre-movers. That's what I meant to say. Okay, there's that, but what can I do in this position to avoid that? Maybe rook d1, or rather rook a d1. Now there's this attack. Can I just unpin my thing? There's also that move. Okay, now this is getting serious and weird. There's nothing my bishop is doing on c4 at the moment, so let it just join the battle of the party. What can I do in this position? This is a very weird Alapin Gambit. Oh, I have rook takes. Okay, rook takes. I'm just going to take back with my rook. So pawn takes, rook takes. Yeah, I still have rook takes. Either ways. Can I even sacrifice here? Rook takes, bishop takes, pawn takes. Can I try? Just for the sake of trying, right? Let's do this. It's going to be fun. Don't try this at home. I'm just giving it my all best. So don't try this at home. Now check. The knight can't take. Can do this now. Yep, it has worked. Now the rook is under attack. Don't try this at home. This is not for the faint of hearts, ladies and gentlemen. I just had to give this a try and see if it can work. Can I sacrifice my rook again? Check, check. Yep, I can, because I still have this check and that. Yeah, so what can't I do? I'll probably give a check again and check. Yeah, I'm still winning this. Check and that, right? Like this. There's a mate somewhere. Check. That. Mate. Yeah, like this. this and mate. No, it's not gonna be mate, but it's gonna be mate in 2. Don't try this at home. Okay, so that was my first weird game featuring the Alapin Gambit. Let's move on to a 2-minute bullet match featuring the Alapin Gambit. Still watching without subscribing? Come on. The more you subscribe, the more you encourage me to do more and review more stuff. Anyway. Right, so let's go, the Alapin Gambit. I can still go knight d2, I guess. First, I have an option to take, but I'm up to something. Knight d2 is still a move that can be played. And then c3, I guess. Can I? I can still go c3, just keeping up with my game plan. Whenever you see pawn to f5, you want to play f3. By the way, this is a 2-minute bullet match, a casual match featuring the Alapin Gambit. Knight d7, let's attack that vulnerable pawn. Knight b6 now. Or maybe I should have played bishop b3. I don't know why I rushed to make a move. Then develop my queen. Castle short. Let me try to castle long because I want to start pawn storming on the king side like that. No trading bishops. So I want to keep bishops for the endgame, put my king to safety, and then start pawn storming right away. g4, this is my plan. I want to go knight e5 next. That was some kind of a clearance sacrifice if you think about it. And then take with a pawn. Ready to take this other pawn. So with the Alapin Gambit, it's all about who is fast in development. In this case, I guess I am faster than my opponent. Let's attack the knight, why not? Let's take that. Rook takes and wait a second. Time to exchange. I'm remaining with 35 seconds. I need to be fast. Bishop that. Oh, wait a second. This is a checkmate. What can my opponent do? The game is over. Why? What happened? This guy is a 25-18 rated player, yet they couldn't see this. What's wrong with this generation? Why? I'm playing against a 25-04 rated opponent, so let's go with the Alapin Gambit. So I can just remove the first 5 moves of the opening because I know what happens anyways. Don't do this. Don't try this at home. So now, time to pawn storm on the king side. Attack. Want to open up the king side like this. Attack. Oh, I just hung my bishop. Maybe this would turn out to be a blessing to my soul. That was check. Oh, damn it. Oh, My opponent just hung their rook. That's check. And I can look at this tactic. Look at this, you guys. A 2504 rated opponent missed that simple tactic. How is it simple to me? Because I solve chess puzzles every day. If you want to be this sharp on the board, make it a habit to solve at least 3 puzzles a day. I mean chess tactics. For those of you who are confused why I sacrificed my queen, let me show you. In case black took, which was the only move, I was going to play knight takes f6 check. And wherever the king was going to go to, I was just going to checkmate my opponent like that. That's why they resigned. And that's how you kill a 2504 rated player. Oh, that's a lie. Okay, let me know which time control you like best for playing this opening. Now, go and check out 3 of my new courses on my website KaspaChess.com that I highly recommend you get right now. The newly updated Semi-Slav defense against d4, the Knight c6 Nimzowitsch defense, and the mighty e5 Paris defense, which is my best selling course till this date. Chess is a school on its own, and you will just need to show some efforts to unlock some secrets that content creators don't show on YouTube. And that's how you support this channel, by the way.